Thanks, we're live. Me's not sure. Okay, well, hello everyone. If you're catching the replay, welcome. I'm Steve. Mark's on his way out. Say hi, Mark. Say bye, Mark. And this is SmokeySteveAndMarc. Welcome or welcome back, and happy Sunday. Happy Sunday indeed. How's the weather where you are? Right now, we had a flood watch that started at 5 p.m. today, and it goes until Tuesday around noon. Bad weather like snow would definitely put us out, but
I'm gonna swim over to the store.
Mark's gonna go swim to the store. He says, hey, Mr. McPhoebe, hey, Andy, hey, Brandy. Yes, we are live. Today we are doing a live coffee talk. Yesterday we were trimming the tree, got the tree to trim the tree, and it just felt so much more important than her. So we had a moment, got the tree, got to do all that stuff, and today we're playing catch up with that. So Jay, hello, Miss McPhoebe, hello, Christine, hello, Empress, hello, Lisa, hey, stranger, how are you? Julia, hello. Still not fully into the holiday spirit. Jay, I know, we're getting there. Now that the tree's here, Pixar, it didn't happen. I have to say, there's Pix. So, Beth, hello. Stupid at work to do this week. I know. This is the last week of the year because everyone else takes off the rest. So every contract that closes in December has to be handled this week, which means even if there is a flood tomorrow, I still am going to work unless they shut down in state of emergency. And even then, I think my boss will probably try to pull a few strings. So, Annie, how are you? Foodie beauty any day. Yes, far more important. She's not going to be doing anything different. At least the tree looks nice. So anyway. So tonight we are here to catch up with our fair lady Chantal Marie, Foodie beauty, big beautiful me, the daily Chantopolis, the Chantal and Sala, modern Miriam, everyday Miriam, Foodie beauty again. Parents came today, had a great time. We all got to hang out. The cats don't like them anymore. I can't figure out why at all. So tonight we are going to cover a few topics. We didn't do a coffee break this week. Time didn't allow for it. She did have things pop up. When you look at her over a week, it almost feels ridiculous. She quit YouTube twice since the last time we sat down and talked about this. So tonight we'll go on a little bit about, Mama's home. She made it home. She's here. We hear a little bit about her finding her way home and how she got there. Her experience of getting on a plane to do said traveling. She seems to have disclosed a little bit more, maybe is a little more honest with herself than the last few times she flew. Her first stop back home was at Red Lobster with some family, 2 family members. There's trouble in her real life family, so there's a lot of stuff in Chantal's life that has gone off YouTube. As far as her family, and I don't think she has any friends. People leave Pete's alone. Pete's popped up again. Discussion of Pete's. Discussion of where's Chantal gonna live? She happens to have a ton of money, no credit, and nowhere to go. And Pete's is just killing time until, I don't know, retirement. Just kind of sitting around. So we'll see if that goes anywhere. Her very biased take on weight loss surgery while sitting in it. Yeah, I hate to say, some folks, it feels like they don't deserve certain chances because others fight so hard for them and are grateful and take advantage of them. You've seen people on 600-pound life. What was that woman's name? Penny? She got the sleeve and she gained weight within the next 9 months. Said the scale misweighed her and everything was wrong at the time. Another one of those blame everybody things. Everyone but me. I was misweighed on calibrated scales in a weight loss unit in a hospital. It's not like some shitty old bathroom scale they brought out. Anyway, that's nothing. So her real life, she's playing it a little close to the vest because things have gone off YouTube into personal life. It's suspected that Chantal's staying with her mother, Smee, who she calls her. And her mother's place had already been doxxed, and it was not news. So she's trying to be a little bit discreet that she's back. I get the suspicion, and I think a lot of people did, that she's not allowed to film while she's staying wherever she's staying now. Because Chantal wouldn't take off this time of year unless she absolutely had to, unless it was make or break kind of things. Also makes me think the car is dead because she took it out for a last ride and said it needed a lot of work, this, that, but she would be out streaming driving now, probably, if she were able to. So if she's not able to, either she can't drive, she has nowhere to go. I don't think Natter's going to come to her, probably. So, real life excuse. She did have a busy week. The abaya, as soon as we landed in North America, that abaya was gone. And we got a picture, a very photoshopped picture of her showing off her body. Sans abaya. Yeah. So, and, the Kia, it lives, but not well. She was going to leave YouTube twice. So, she paid a ton to get it fixed. More lots, please. She doesn't have a ton. She doesn't. She's like, what is it on the Titanic? Rose and her mother, they have the name, and people assume the name means money, but it doesn't anymore. Thank fuck no more tent wear. I don't know. She's going to leave YouTube for the safety of her family, to work on her health. There was a discussion about living with Pete's again. Came up. She got all lawyered up, thinking about coming after BBJ, going back after French Fry Girl, after dumping a cat that she had for 20 years. The 20 years doesn't show your love and devotion to the cat. The cat, in the end of its life, needing its mother and deciding, I'm going to go play Passport Wars across sea and replace that cat with another cat, and then leave that one there. That is so fucking selfish to do. I don't think Salah's going to keep the cat, honest. And that hamster, which I don't even think he wanted, no. Question, is she banned from Kuwait because of some policy changes they had regarding citizens and who could be there? And getting thrown out of Kuwait, actually. So, she had a full week. But now that she's back on Canadian soil, things are looking a little bit different for her than they were before. Homeward bound, just as I'll start as we're leaving Kuwait and then we're back on soil. He drove her to the airport. They were going to miss each other, blah, blah, blah. I'm talking about Salah. He's never looked happier. I'm not saying that to frame this as he's glad she's gone. He's never looked happier on camera than dropping her off in his luxury car. Honestly, I don't think she's going to see him again. I don't think she's going to. You know how when she's in Kuwait, everything felt so far away in Canada? It was easy to burn Pete's, leave it behind, leave my car, leave my mess to my family so I can go find myself at the tender age of 39. And they all had to go clean up the mess of it. So she didn't care because she was on to the next thing. But now that Canada's the next thing, he's gone. They're he doesn't count anymore. He doesn't matter anymore. He's exhausted his usefulness in the plot. So he'll be written out. Chantal will probably bait going on dates. She'll do all her stuff, getting ready to go out, and I just want to look nice tonight, and troll that she's actually going out somewhere. The fact that Salah's letting her, if they were married, do you think a devoutly married, very conservative Muslim woman who was in an abaya until touchdown is going to live with another guy? And that he's going to go for that? And then ride Pete's ass to tell everyone his gender is fluid, so it's okay with her husband that she lives with the guy? I don't, I'm not sure what the angles are. She has too many things going on at once. If she wasn't coming back, why was the car waiting for her? Eventually she'd be back. They probably knew. Her family was probably like, oh, we'll hold on to it. Maybe they didn't think she'd be gone a year. Honestly, I didn't. I didn't think she'd be in Kuwait for a whole year. I thought she'd give it maybe 3 months, come back, have a fake health crisis then, and then we would go into the next thing. She can't afford a studio alone, but Pete's is renting a room in a home of another older couple, from what I understand, and he would, I'm sure, be happy to get out of that situation. I'm sure she's been in touch with him, and he's such a sad sack that he would go right back and do it again. All of a sudden, the Kia's paid off, paying the minimums on that old-ass car. I don't know. She makes different decisions than I think a lot of other people would make, given her circumstances. So, yeah. They're both desperate to get out. They're both looking to find another place to live. They will move back in together. They will. They might have to get a co-signer, because he probably had good credit until she ditched him to go play dick chaser around the Mediterranean. And left poor old Pete's there, And she still played his mom towards the end of her leaving. I remember this came up. It was after Pete got his channel and was getting a little bit of money coming in, and she was way to be going out. He wanted to buy a new computer. He has a channel. He made AdSense off of it. He wanted to get another thing. Computers are considered an investment in your channel, plus work and hobbies, whatever. And she told him no, he couldn't spend his own money on that because rent was more important. Now, she's, I suspect, paid the rent the entire time if he's been unemployed. But she's going to pull rank with your money and you're going to move back in with her. She's going to ditch you at the first sight of another guy because good old Pete's will understand. Good old Pete's. Get ready to be abandoned again. If you think it wouldn't happen again, she's just did it now. She just left a guy and a home and a life and pets dropped in the center of Kuwait. It all meant so much to her. It all meant so much to her. And going back home to get weight loss surgery, that's stupid. And I mean, her behavior after landing now back in Canada kind of gives you the whole vibe of like weight loss, getting her health under control is a bunch of bullshit. It has nothing to do with it. She's going to be stuck in the Canadian system. I have an ex in Canada, wonderful man. And I was picking his brain about some stuff, and he said private insurance in Canada, because I have another friend in the UK, and they have the nationalized health system, and the waits are very long for some services. Well, they went to a private facility through private insurance, and they all but brought him white wine while he was waiting for, anesthesia to come in. Like, it was very she. But unfortunately, I think in Canada, because provincial healthcare will cover weight loss surgeries, that private insurance won't. So I had thought in my head, God, she makes a lot of money. Couldn't she just pay without insurance? And it's not the affordability, it's that she'd never get through the whole hoops you have to jump through. So up to 3 years for a primary. It is wild. It's very wild. It's very different in the United States. It's very different. Mark has like insurance plan for folks who have disabilities. So it's not being on disability, but you pay a percentage of your take home to the state of Pennsylvania, and they give you basically Medicaid coverage for the whole time. So that's not bad. I had that through my employer. But even good insurance sucks. Like good dental insurance, even good dental insurance is ass. So she says goodbye to Sala. He's never looked happier, and she's getting on the plane. Now, as far as her getting on a plane, she did say, like in the thumbnail, be better off buying 2 seats. Now, she's flown back and forth how many times? And she hasn't gained an ounce since she left Canada before. Yet on this final trip back, she needed, definitely, she thought, 2 seats. And the way she explained her story about getting 2 seats, she was flying Emirates, or whatever, however you pronounce it, and she was telling the story that when she got on the plane, they were able to do some rearranging so that she would have an empty seat next to her. The rearranging is not for you, madam. It is for the poor person who was supposed to sit next to her, so they can find somewhere else to be. So they'll rearrange people to accommodate her. It's not that she needs an accommodation, it's the entitlement of it that makes people sick. No one's mad at her because she's fat and needs 2 seats. It's that she bought herself one because she thinks she shouldn't have to pay more, even though she takes up the space of 2 people. So she conceded, yes, I should probably get it. Fly first class. Why not? For that long of a flight? I don't know. Hey, Jake, Merry Christmas to you, too. Yes, Carabella, dental's a lost cause. Nothing pays for dental. Medicare doesn't pay. Teeth aren't part of your body, apparently. Yeah, Sandra, 2 seats next time. And the option they gave her is that she would just have to wait another flight. So we're talking now about, she told us she's too fat to live in Kuwait anymore, essentially. She needs to get her health in order to go back. Some bullshit. It's a story. And then all of a sudden we get on the plane and she's, oh, I'm too fat to fly now. They said you'd have to get on another plane. They were willing to throw her off the plane for being in the way, which, woohoo. But it's the entitlement that goes with it. Like, if you have special needs, don't act like you don't need special needs accommodations. Sure, you're the same as everybody else, but you're not the same as everybody else. You're twice as wide. And in an activity that involves sitting for 15 hours, seats matter. They do. So she could have made arrangements in advance for 2 seats. Canada, the second seat was free with a doctor's note. Yeah, but she's not going to spend money on something like travel. Why? When she can spend, there's no investment in the travel. There's investment when you go to Popeyes. You pay $40 for food and you make 120 back. Sure, but she's far too immature to be handling a separation from the love of her life as well as she is. Yes, just a sub, I agree. It makes me, the fact that she's not texting them constantly, wondering if there's other women around, XYZ, even if they are married, she's settled enough that she's not invested. She was trying to sell us on how in love she was, and you could see how in love he wasn't, but her actions going forward will really reveal how much she even cared to begin with, and whether it was even based around love, commitment, convenience. They had a contract of some sort. She thought it was really going to work out, that in the process of this fake love, that he was going to fall in love with her and it would be just like a movie, a Hallmark movie. And it's not what happened. He hides in another room, doesn't show up much, and then it became possible that she could be incarcerated or fined for being in the country anymore. So all of a sudden, she needs a gastric bypass. After years of blowing it off, within a day, she needs one, and she gets on a plane. Would Salva's blessing? His blessing wouldn't have mattered. Probably. He might have given it, but he didn't look too upset either. So homeward bound, dealing with the plane. She's still 366 from when she left. She hasn't gained a pound since the first time she left Canada, except now she needs bigger seats. I think now it's getting closer to her attention that, like, maybe it's an unfair perception that someone who's obese needs accommodations to get around because of the idea that, well, you put yourself in that situation. So if it's hard walking, tough shit. And using things like mobility scooters might be less than savory for someone who's dealing with obesity. There's a lot of reasons people, need accommodations and things like that. But deciding everyone's just going to have to rearrange themselves around me because the star is here. The star is here. A star was born. Nothing since the diabetes health journey either. She has not. She hasn't followed up at all. So first stop, when she gets back off the plane, after she got herself wedged out of the seat, they went to Red Lobster. She went to Red Lobster with 2 family members. Now, do we remember the doctor in Kuwait's idea about diet? Lean meat and veggies. That's it, pretty much. Not much else. And Chantal says that that's bad for your soul or something, and that it won't work for her. So she's not going to follow what the diet was there. And the first meal you eat after coming from abroad doesn't count. Like she's been denied Western fast food and conveniences this whole time. She's eaten from everywhere. Even the, smaller restaurant chains. Oh, this came free with this, that too. Bitches need carbs. She's not gonna, and no one's gonna fix it for her. Like, I have a history with food issues. I get it. They're weird. A lot of people don't understand them. A lot of people don't understand if you're fat and want to be thin, just stop eating so much. It's simple, but it's not easy. I compare it to like getting sober. It's simple. Don't drink. But you have to do it forever. And ever and ever and ever. So any excuse to eat, she's a fast food queen, I absolutely agree with. So after she comes back and has a homecoming with a full 2 people who showed up, there's some trouble going on around in real life for her family. So I'm sure her family, Smee and all the rest, are so sick of this bullshit that comes along. And but for being related to Chantal, this wouldn't be happening to them. Are people going overboard going into real life with her family? Well, you can make a pretty good argument for yes, they are. But Chantal brings that with her. She's like, not because she's filthy, but like Pigpen from Peanuts, where it's like bullshit swarming around her all the time. And if you get too close, it's stuck to you too. So she has nothing in her life except food. I'm thinking she's already been a little jet lagged. I understand, since she's been back. So for the real life problem she's causing, it doesn't matter to her. She kind of shrugs if there's consequences for her family. Chantal says people shouldn't be doing those things. And so I will continue to do what I want to do because they're in the wrong. But her taking that stand puts her family in an uncomfortable position. And if she cared, she may have chosen to do something a little bit different. Because the fact that the consequences happening to them are because of her, and uniquely her. It's not like, oh, all big YouTubers get people stalk their families. That's not how it goes. It can. You get a lot of eyes on you. You're bound to get some people that perceive you a certain way. But still, so it's causing problems for the family. It's causing problems in her house. The suspicion is that she's at her mom's while she's back, and she's intermittently filming and not filming because she can't have access to it all the time, that there may have been a boundary set that she's not to film with in the house where she's staying, lest she dox it. It's been doxed. Like, it's all out there. Everything's out there. There's very little that isn't. Whose opinions and feelings are you more concerned with, your mother's or French fry girls? Because if we're having to choose between the comfort and safety of my family and whether or not I can have the last word in a fight, I'm a bad person if I make that choice. People who've consistently made choices in my interest over and over and over and over and put up with stuff and forgave and went to rescue and take to the ER and, you know, all that kind of stuff. Nothing back. Nothing back. No. Grandma waited for me to die because she was the single crown jewel in her grandmother's fucking, I don't know, Pete's and her in a new apartment? I'm sure. So, without being connected to Chantal, they wouldn't have these issues. Goes without saying, but also, when I think about other YouTubers, like, people don't go in and screw with people's families usually too much unless there's a certain, what would motivate someone to do it? What would inspire someone to act out like that? I don't know. She feeds the bears, if you can say it. Chantal's the kid in school who got this far from, I'm not touching you, I'm not touching you, I'm not touching you. They do it for 45 minutes. I'm not touching you. You turn around and smack a bitch right in the face. Teacher, I didn't even touch him and he hit me. That's Chantal's moral compass in a in a nutshell, pretty much. That's about the extent of it. And she hasn't changed that way of thinking. She's just gotten older. She hasn't matured exactly. She wears big girl clothes and has a big girl job and makes big girl money, but carries on. Like, you get into an argument with her about something important and she starts talking about your looks, where you live, if you live in a motel. New arc looks like in her car, even though Chin Spangs can't hide it. She's bigger. She gained. And when she's putting fat filters on, only to later take them off and show all of us how thin she's been the whole time. I think the community post where she's sans abaya, she was going for that because the photo that she put up, we're live, I don't have it here with me, was so not what she looks like. A lot of fuzzy corners. Her one leg was very large compared to the other, and not just because the knee was bent forward. She did spend time when she was coming back saying that her legs were terribly swollen on the flight. Well, yeah. And again, my only knowledge of obesity and the whatnot is 600-pound life, and only that Dr. Now often, it seems like those cross-country rides are just a nightmare, but getting on a plane for someone with clots, and she has clots some places, or she has, I'm sure putting on 50 pounds didn't help them go away. May have aggravated them a little bit. And then to get on a plane like that, like, oh, I don't know. She has been back for a week and has started nothing. Don't you think if she loved her husband, she'd get her ass there, she'd get the diet meal on the plane? If the only thing separating her from her husband was her weight, you know, she can wait for a bypass for 2 years, or she can make herself a chicken salad and go for a frickin' walk. You know, why does it have to be somebody else's issue that she can't get healthy? Well, the only thing that'll do it is a bypass, and I have to wait too long. She's been involved in trying to get a bypass for a long time. They've probably been begging her to get one. But no, she doesn't want to. I think, like, you start to feel full real fast. But I also understand that if you eat all day grazing or stretch your pouch out, the weight loss surgery isn't going to be doing much of anything. Yes, Caroline, exactly. She said she should have worn compression stockings while she was flying for safety's sake. Who gives a shit what it looks like? All of a sudden she's going to be worried about part of how she looks? I don't know. So we are not going to be wearing the abaya for now. I had said last week that I thought that she would most likely take off the hijab and flush it down the toilet and get off the plane and start over. Now, that's not exactly what happened, but we did get a picture of her with no abaya, which she's had on the entire time pretty much she was there that we'd seen her. She went and she had the hijab she had a hat on like this, and the hijab was just, you know, in here. And she had that on top, and she had like a black shirt, and she had some really sticky pants, and I don't know. I would say the filter's chopped off over 100 pounds for how round she is, and she's dead on. She's not this way, because this way, you know those really skinny women who get pregnant like with their first kid, and from the back you can't even tell they're pregnant, but then when they turn to the side, you're like, oh, it's kind of like that. So we mostly see Chantal dead on. So she said she didn't bring any of them with her. She was supposed to keep her modest morals with her too. They were supposed to come with, but you know, you know. And what else as part of her faith is going to go? She found out, unfortunately, mid-chew, I guess, that Chef Boyardee has pork in it. So, hey, no, what's up? Another own. How you doing? So, the fact that she didn't know there was pork in it and ate it, her response was, wow, they put pork in everything. You can read on the side of the package what's in everything. If you want to conveniently say, I didn't know, nobody told me, and eat it, that probably sounds a little better than, I ate this even though it had pork in it because I don't really care that much anymore. Because that's what really she said. You know, oh God, that's terrible. No atonement. You know, did you text Sala? You know, I'm sure some things are a bigger deal than others, but if you're going to join a club, then you should play by the rules. It's one of the reasons I left the religion I was raised with, because I don't live by the same rules. I don't feel by this, and I certainly don't want to show up someplace once a week that tells me I should feel that I have some sort of innate depravity, you know, because Mark and I split the rent. So step back from it, and I don't receive communion either when I go to church, because I don't believe the same thing about it that my family, who's Catholic, believe about it. So in reference to them, I just don't do it because I don't feel the same way. So there's ways to negotiate religious differences. She just kind of does what she wants to do, and if it happens to fall into the lifestyle, if it's convenient to her, she'll do it. Like covering her head until maybe her hair grows back. Maybe. And that'll be covered for a while. So she didn't pack the costume because she didn't have enough suitcase for her bedsheet clothing. This is also true. It's a lot to move. It is a whole lot to move. So, you know, we'll give her that. Let's see. Modest Miriam. When Salah starts talking to girls, because he might, where does that leave Chantal? It was suggested just in the chat right here, very thoughtfully, that that there's no love lost because there was no love. Or by the time she left, there wasn't. I don't think she loved him enough to live in Kuwait. I think there might have been a guy out there, there could be, that would make her happy enough to stay out of the US or out of the Canada or out of the Western world, but haven't seen Foodie in a while. What happened to the cat she had in Kuwait? It's still there. Allegedly, it's being taken care of along with, you know, I guess the hamster. Sal was supposed to be taking care of it. There was a picture put up of him holding it and looking at it. And I have to say, not for nothing, after she left, that cat looked better. I don't know, maybe Sala brushed it or something. Something really out there like that. Like, held it down and gave it a little and some love. Just saying, you know. But she's more and more ditching the modesty. There goes the abaya. The hijab is barely noticeable. We're not really that big of a deal to eat pork anymore. These aren't like suggestions. Like, these are what you're supposed to do. It's not, halal is not a diet. It's not if you feel like it. It's not if I'm having a bad emotional day and only pork will fill that void. Part of discipline is not having anything you want any goddamn time you want it. And not that you need to immediately substitute it with something else if you can't have it. That's the discipline of it. You know, it is thought to build a little bit of character, you know. And I'm thinking of Sister Act because I have a very wishy-washy sense of religion. But I remember they're all sitting at the main table in Sister Act 1, and they talk about eating in silence because Whoopi Goldberg won't shut the hell up. And she said, a fast to remind you of those who endure without food. I'm like, okay. I can see that. Hunger strikes are not Chantal's forte. I don't imagine she would take up a political position that involved her not eating for the sake of some cause. But she's been trying to educate people on her faith in the chat, which is funny. And by educate, I mean someone will say, isn't halal like something you should look at before you eat? The response, are you Muslim? Do you know what I'm supposed to be doing? The fact that someone who could Google Islam probably have more accurate information than Chantal does is not reassuring for her faith. I don't know that she's sought out the mosque that was near her home. Remember the one she drove to once and didn't go in before she left for Kuwait? That was her experience of the culture. So, someone said that if there was a female talking to him in his language, she blocked it. Does her family get a nice ham for Christmas dinner? She'll eat it if she wants to. Yeah, she'll do whatever she wants. I mean, that's the point blank period. You know, any sign she gives that she'll do otherwise is bullshit. You know, and if she had a thick head of hair, Muslim what? Muslim who? It wouldn't have been an issue. But when she went for breakfast, they had bacon. Of course she did. She's not going to make any effort to do it, except on camera, like everything. But the obviousness is that she's doing it on camera to try to convince people that she's not, that she brought her old life with her, that she brought Salah in her heart, that home is wherever Salah is. Or similar. And now it's like some kind of fart in the wind. Like, oh, I lived there for a little while. I kind of stayed with this guy. So, I don't know. Kia, gone. Leaving YouTube. She was going to leave YouTube. The chin hair, that's what was with this. I remember the chin hair. Or the, well, it wouldn't cover. Maybe the chin hair would be better to be seen than the old meth pipe burns. They were a little less flattering, I would say. She was going to leave YouTube like twice this week. She needs to work on her health and has to think about her family's safety. Neither of those are at the top of her food chain. Neither. She's probably trolling Natter now that she's within an hour of him. 2 hours of him, I think. So, it's the money-making time of year, so if she's not going to be on YouTube, some compelling reason is keeping her off. Leaving YouTube for 12 hours. Yes, Miss McPhoebe, that's exactly how it was framed. So, I don't know. If she isn't filming in the Kia is broken. And I think the deal with Smee is, like we said, that she can probably stay there but not film in the house. Pete's came up this week. Well, hello, Pete's. Now, Pete's hasn't really gone anywhere exactly. And the last I knew, Pete's pronouns were he, him. So I'm going to go with he, him. If he's upset, I'll change them. But I'm going to do with what I remember. So Pete's has been doing his own thing. Next to nothing, staying with another couple, older. And I'm sure it's uncomfortable for Pete's. I mean, even if you're kind of a slacker, you still don't want to live the obvious life of a slacker and just crash in somebody else's house and throw them a few $100. So I understand he wants his... He doesn't have anything close to autonomy without his dependence on Chantal. Like, the closest thing he has to freedom is when she drags him along to do things for her. That's sad. I feel bad for Pete's. You know, I don't care exactly, but I feel bad that he's in that position, that he's in that kind of... The only way he's out right now is like her or stay where he's at. And she'll happily live with him again. He puts up with all her bullshit. Who else is going to put her socks on? Salah? No. 2-bedroom in Ottawa's $2,000 a month. Her old rent was like $2,000. I thought she said one time. In the villa. So, I don't know. So Pete's moving in. Neither of them have really arguably matured or gained anything from the last time they were together. It's suspected heavily that she just left Pete's high and dry. Here's the apartment. Here's the mess in the apartment. Here's what she didn't fix or pay for, and she was just conveniently halfway around the world when the consequences started to roll downhill. Such a shitty... Never commit a crime with Chantal. Snitchy. Never commit a crime with Chantal. Because she will out you if it'll save her. You know, she would like... I don't know. But the idea of Pete's moving in as a man, as I understood, and her living with him as a married... Like, Natter didn't want her there as, you know, boyfriend or friend, as if he cared, with Pete's there. But Salah's like, sure, move in friends, bring more people. So, friend to no one, Ruby Red? I'd agree that she's a friend to no one. Pete's isn't genuinely trans. He's just looking for a niche to be fit into. I agree with that. I mean, he'll find his way with his gender, or he won't, or he'll stay transitioned between something and something. But yeah, he doesn't really fit in. I always thought that he'd have like a circle of friends in that like anime community stuff. Like there's a bunch of guys stuck at home with long greasy hair who are playing online talking about cartoons. And why can't he find them? Why can't he connect with people with similar interests? He has to sit around and listen to her stories all the time, pretend to be interested, and occasionally go off on some sort of wildly leftist rant of his perception of American politics. These are the people that don't vote because the system sucks, but then complain about the system 4 hours a day. Too lazy to transition? I could see that. Still transitioning from childhood to adulthood. Excellent point. There's a bit of a stunt. People have shared observations. It's been said straight out does Pete have autism or Asperger's or something similar? He is very socially awkward. The thing is, Angela, he is, but he doesn't know what or why. And it's more important to be like loud than to be thoughtful. And it's really easy to have opinions on things that have zero impact on your life. You know, I can be critical of the Canadian healthcare system, but it doesn't affect me. It doesn't have anything to do with me. So, yeah. So her living with Pete and her being married could be making kind of ambiguous gender identification for Pete allows her to make a move and say, well, it's not like he's even straight. It's not like he's this. It's not like he's that. So watch out, drivers on Montreal. It's unsafe to drive. Like, I can't imagine how do inspections work on vehicles in Canada? I wonder, because like every year I need to get another one with proof that I got it. So, I don't know. I didn't know. But, so, she's lawyered up as she has returned because she wants to make some motions, she said, in a couple chats. She was in the chat in Sala's room and stuff about getting lawyered up because she's going to go back and get BBJ potentially. It's in the works. It's in the works of it. It was brought up as a topic on his channel. When you bring up a topic and there's either a live chat or a comment section below it, I think it's fair game to talk about. And he brought it up. People aren't just going after him like mad. He introduced himself into the world and these ideas. And they were going to go to Pride too, because another hat Chantal was going to wear was fag hag. So she was going to try to rally all the queers up in her province and try to make herself, queen bee. And she was bi for the week that she was going to go to Pride. And then not after. She's deranged. So, Canada's expensive, especially Vancouver. From my understanding, it is quite, Do you really believe that? She has never followed through. I don't think we're going to be expecting her to follow through. This weight loss, 2 years might as well be never in her mind. She can't see 2 years away to a weight loss surgery. No way. And she would never put herself in harm's way just because she loved the guy she was married to. Never. There's a crack in the wind of, it might be a hard time lately for folks of this citizenship status to stay in Kuwait, because unless you contribute to our economy, you showed up with no job, sick. If someone's trans, it's fine with me. But people who manipulate being part of a group as part of an agenda is weird. General exploration, too. And if Pete's, a lot of people, it happens around puberty, but not everybody. I've known guys who were in their 60s who came out after their wife died. 3 kids, family pictures, portraits, and then people find themselves in a different place. So, nothing about what he says about wanting to be a woman points him to wanting to be a woman. Yeah. It's just to be outrageous. It's just to be outrageous, probably. Live, freeze, and happy BBJ and away from Chantal. We hope, because her getting lawyered up to try to come and take the cat is not okay. She gave her cat up. Didn't matter who it was to, she would have given it away. At the end of its life, when it may have needed her the most. So that's all that happened. And she left. Then she got another cat to try to fill the hole in her heart, or troll, either or, and got that, ignored it, and then that left. Have him enter Canadian Drag Race? Oh, I don't know. I don't know if he's found his style yet, Angel. I'm not sure. So I'm not anti-trans. I just think it has become a bandwagon for people that are lost in life. I don't know. Call me old-fashioned, but there was gay, straight, transvestite. Like, all the language changed. All the stuff on that changes. It's still evolving. The language we use, I work in mental health, and you still find the R word on some pamphlets from some agencies because they'll be like MHMR, mental health and mental, you know, for the county agency. And that stuff is still there, you know. So, but anyway, so she's going to lawyer up because the cat was taken under false pretenses. She was giving it away. And if she was so serious about a lawsuit, why did she wait a year to do anything about it? The cat's being taken care of. The cat was old anyway. If it looks older now, it's because it aged also. But if the cat's still doing well and it's being paid for, what is the harm? What is it going to, I don't know. Anyway, and then it kind of came across that like, okay, Kuwait has a set of rules that goes for people who want to come to Kuwait and either live there temporarily for work, temporarily to visit, that kind of thing. So we've heard and seen Chantal jump a little here to there to try to keep things on the up and up with her visa as best she could. She said originally when she got there that there were loopholes. Loopholes. Now, when you admit to using loopholes, it's going to come up later. So she is in a position now. All of a sudden she was seeing doctors. All of a sudden it was that. Expats have to pass the physical test to stay permanently, and she cannot. She said she's an expat, and she can't stay. And they don't want her living off the Kuwaiti dollar like she has been off the Canadian one. So they're like, take your shit, go back to where you're from. You don't need to be in Kuwait for this medical procedure. You don't need to be in Kuwait to do the job you're doing, and you're just taking up resources and space. Some people, and the move they have also, she was made, remember that she had a job sort of when she got there? Maybe she might have skidded in on a work visa or something similar. And then that folded quick, very quick. How much unicity do we think she sold? No, there's a few Beezers that would buy it probably, just because they want to be like, hey Chantal, pick me for your favorite. Can make me a mod. I'll buy all your shit. Maybe their love for the age just fizzled away like an old poutine. How poetic. How poetic. So, but her not being able to go back to Kuwait, not just for her health issues, they don't want to pay for it, but because she's not contributing anything. And why would you be over there like on a tourist visa getting sort of like, I don't know. It was hard to make sense of. So the bottom line is she left Kuwait, her ass on fire getting out of there. And I don't think she'll be returning at all. Because any of the consequences that she would have had to face, she wouldn't be able to do. She sold as much unicity as she has Beezer spray. Thank you, Live Light. That is absolutely true. She doesn't like, she's always said that like YouTube's her job. And it's not a job, but for her it's a job. It gives her enough money to live and not have to do anything else to make money. So it's like, her job in that sense. So then she gets these other little jobs. Like, what the hell do you need like all that other stuff for? Just a troll to make a little extra, to act like you need the money, I know that she took a dive for a lot of October, but then through November, those views were coming back up on the videos. We weren't talking 10, 12,000 views on a 5-day-old mukbang. We're talking more like 15, 18. It's going up. The KFC in the drawer. I'm telling you, this was the thing. When Chantal was trolling, gaslighting, that she had binge eating disorder, and as part of that, she had hid 8 pizza boxes in the bedroom closet, which BB for some reason never saw. And she said she put them in there because she was ashamed. She did not hide the KFC in her desk drawer because she was ashamed. She put it there because it was convenient, and she didn't want to get up to put it anywhere else. And she threw it in a drawer and left it there. She's happy in Canada. She's a boss driving her Kia, eating comfort foods, and adoring men everywhere. Yeah, right. Yeah. I don't know what she's going to do with herself, and the weight loss surgery, like we said, she's never going to go along with it. It's too far out. 2 years in her time, she has no concept of time. She thinks a long time is 3 days. Oh, I've been fasting for a long time. When'd you start? Noon. Like, she has no concept of that. 2 years might as well be 1,000. She's not going to go back under that. We'll probably get a little bit of her back and forth. She'll Sala with the pictures of the cats like we saw, or things like that, that you might get a little more of an idea of what's going on in his end. But I'll be curious to see the activity in his chats or reports about said activity in the chats. Because that's where she shows up and starts stirring shit, and where she starts using his account to type things. It's always funny. She won't let that go, because even if the marriage was fake, it proved to her somehow that she could be married. Wheelchairs? Oh, Sandra, she has jet lag. I have so much jet lag. 5 days and a trip to the dispensary later. Right, Live Light. Well, this is her year. She's phasing out mentioning her husband. It's little by little by little by little. She pulls it all back. By February, she'll be on to the next. Because she has nothing to do except eat and try to find a guy who won't mind that she eats. And she had to, dig a little far. It's not like she only had to go out on a couple dates. She had to deceive a man around the globe about her appearance in order for her to have a relationship. So what she needs is a guy who loves her as fat as she is. Not one that wants to make her fatter or a feeder necessarily, but someone who just likes her the way she is. And honestly, she could probably do with a fat guy, but she thinks she's a little too good for that. Because she's better looking than 99% of us. So, she can pick and choose. She can pick and choose. She posted, if I do go back to Kuwait this week, not when, it's exactly, McPhoebe, that's exactly it. This is over. Kuwait's over now. She doesn't want to look like a monster and forget about it and stop mentioning it too quickly. But she'll do a video in a week or two. I miss my husband. Some shit. Or Salah coming to Canada? ? Because that was everyone's thing. And all she'll say in the video is, I looked into it. He can't come to Canada. But that's a 20,000 view video with just a little bit of clickbaiting. So she's going to have some ammunition, I guess, that she'll be able to use to make some more content going into the end of the year. You want to bet she observes no Muslim traditions or holidays again, except the ones, she likes the abaya because it covers her head. Everything else, it just happened to be useful to her at the time, to be draped in whatnot. And now, not in Canada. She doesn't want to do that in Canada. So she's not going to, I guess. Bizarre. I don't know. Mama's home, though. Mommy Warbucks. So she's going to have big money coming in. She's going to have to find somewhere to put it. Someone to give it to. Now that she's like half a Muslim, I wonder if she'll try to put her foot back in the door to Natters. I suspect she will. And not tell anybody and not tell her husband, And Chantal comes back at questions like that with what, you've never cheated? Well, first of all, a lot of people haven't. That's like people that say everybody gets a DUI every once in their life. No, they don't. 95% of people don't have those kind of things happen. When you hang out with friends who try to normalize weird behavior, you forget that it's out of the norm if you do it for so long. Redo the Cuba Bees for her 40th birthday. I want to watch her react to it for her 40th birthday. That's what I want to see. How happy did Salah look when she left? For real. He looked so good. He looked so happy. I popped over because there was an accusation about him replaying on his video game channel that he had taken footage from somebody else and was claiming it was his own or not giving it credit or whatever. So I popped over to his channel to see what the hell does a gaming channel even look like. And Salah is smiling, happy. His English seems quite a bit better, honestly, than when he was with her. And he's just going about his life. You would never tell the man was just ripped apart from his most beloved. That world's handsomest man was So, she's not going to fit in the sunning plane to Cuba. Well, we'll see. So going forward now, can I ask a question off quick? Yeah. Do you have any oatmeal cream pies left? They look so good. Yes, my parents came down to visit today. We gave some to them too. We have another 6 of them. I think we made 15. So the man just lost 450 pounds. Of course he's happier. I'm fucking dead. Yeah. He's just going to go about his life now. And him having other wives or other people around. I mean, didn't Amberlynn Reed have a suggestion of going poly just to keep a woman? If people want to share love amongst each other, I don't get polyamory. But that's not for me to get. It's not my life. But the boundaries, she's not great with the boundaries. So I don't think that kind of thing would work. She's not going to be great with other sister wives in that sort of thing. She wouldn't put up with that. She doesn't even like it if he has female, probably acquaintances. If the woman that brings their mail is she doesn't want anybody female around her man. And even for the sake, and I don't think it's for love this time, but I think it's territorial, probably. So, cool cat. Hope all is well. Merry Christmas. You too. Thank you much. Syrians are allowed to visit Canada for a max of 6 months. She did mention visiting, even though all the other stuff she said. She did mention him visiting or her visiting there. I don't think she's putting that abaya back on and getting on a 13-hour flight because you know damn well she's not going to lose a pound. She's only going to gain. It's the holidays. Even if she doesn't want to gain, she'll gain. And then she might not be able to go back without a first-class seat or 2 coach. And that inconvenience is hers to bear. It's not because of haters that she needs 2 seats. It's not because of haters that she's not welcome in a country because of her poor health, the poor health she contributes to. Who else's fault is that supposed to be? Who else, or if you have shady dealings with immigration and get jammed up and have to do something like leave your husband for a few years, and you do it like, oh yeah, I just had to return those shoes. She came back for the food she missed. I would believe that. There was a lot of stuff she missed. Orange Julius, is that the one she would say she was going to when she'd go to Natter's? Was it Orange Julius? I have to think. Yeah, she's deficient in gravy, Nashies, McRib sandwiches, Starbucks coffees, and she gets the coffee that's like a chocolate milkshake with a splash of coffee in it. I can't drink one of those for breakfast. I'd go right back to bed. I can't have like a coffee-flavored milkshake at 6 o'clock in the morning. And then all her canned food. She did do a shopping haul, but all her shopping haul was like shit food too. So she has no interest in the health stuff from what she showed us. It was an excuse to leave Kuwait. And she gets to ignore these other ideas of maybe she had to leave because she wasn't welcome there anymore and there could have been legal consequences to her staying. And some would argue, hey, that's great. If we want more people from our own country working jobs here and not abroad, then I guess, but I don't know. She had poutine in that weird ass poutine video. Yeah, that was a weird one too. She ate her way around Thailand pretty well. I mean, that was almost all the content. And that she couldn't move. So we'll see what she does with Christmas. I mean, she doesn't observe Christmas, so she might just stay home and get stoned. Again. Last Christmas. Was it last Christmas? No, she was there. Last Christmas? Was that the one where she, yes, it does have pork in it, from what I understand. But she didn't read the label first, Birdie. Like, here's the thing. Whose responsibility is it to look at ingredients, see what's in the food, and if I have some sort of restriction, I'm not supposed to eat it? Whose job is that to do? Hers? Yes. Anybody else's? No. And whoopsie afterwards, you bet she finished the bowl. It's not like she stopped eating it. It's not like when you meet someone who's like an ethical or moral, like vegan, and you might even just see someone spit the food out because it's morally objectionable to them. Chantal is just when it's convenient, Exactly. She just does what she wants, and we're just here watching the show. And thank you for watching my show, by the way. And thank you for coming in. Please do thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, get the bell. You'll get alerts when we have new videos and go live. We're going back into the routine of doing coffee breaks as we did for a couple weeks. So going into this week, we'll have that. Content will probably change because it'll be Christmas, coming up to next week, but we'll see. She wants her presents. Hideous Pennington stuff. She's just learning to be Muslim, guys. Yeah, I just started. Now, she's so devout that she can correct someone if they suggest something she doesn't know. That much she knows. But she couldn't, outside of ordering food and saying hello, goodbye, and bless you, I don't think she knows anything. And she lived there for a year. I would hope if Salah moved to Canada, that his English would improve over that time. And if he spoke none, it helps things along. Do you know how many other places you can visit if you speak more than one language? It's a really good thing to have. But, I don't know. Ready for Rage and Bees? We're due for her to get, we're going early into the week, but we're getting halfway through the month. I'm going to say stoned, her playing it off again as jet lagged like 2 weeks later after landing, saying she's jet lagged. So, she'll do with that, and she'll hide it. You don't know if I'm high or not, which means I'm not. You have to believe whatever I say because you can't assume that about me. Of course I can. Of course I can. The whole bucket of tricks. She's like a walking chemistry set when she's on Canadian soil. So, how long do we give it till all the Muslim stuff's like gone over with and not even thought of? I'm gonna say February. That it's not even there, not even on, Friday, payday, ready for something wild. We'll see. We'll see. Because of the holiday weekend, it might be a little more damped down, the activities. Like, she might just not go bullshit about the whole thing. But I'm saying by February, this Muslim thing is all but over, except maybe the hijab. Maybe. So, you're going to be generous and say May. I feel that. The casserole was delicious, Miss McPhoebe. The cowboy casserole was so good. It's like tater tot casserole with a bit of a wink and a nudge. And it was very, very tasty. Chantal would have loved it, I'm sure. But, it had bacon in it. Sorry. So, what do we think we'll see in the next week? It is a holiday week, like I said, but it's going into the end of the month. So, I think the content will be a little more outrageous. She's going to put up a couple of, Merry Christmas to all my whatever Beezers and happy whatever holiday to this person or that person, to all my loyal Kwanzaa Beezers or something stupid. She'll stop before Ramadan in March. That's an excellent point. She wouldn't go through with Ramadan unless someone was looking. There's nothing in it for her. There's nothing in it for her. She doesn't think she needs to build character. She doesn't think it's an important thing to have a good relationship with yourself or to put yourself off, every little once in a while to build a little, character. So, can you quit being Muslim after you take the oath? I've had all my sacraments, so technically, I guess I'm Catholic. I had all the ones of initiation. No. Baptism, confirmation, Holy Eucharist. I had mine, so they can bury me in the church where I have my sacraments now. I don't consider myself Catholic. I don't share it with other people. I said I was raised Catholic, So, hijab has always been the only way in which she's Muslim. Yes, Charbel, I agree with that. But the only way that she in dress. The cheapest, laziest, don't have to put any effort into it. It actually makes less work for me. The hijab meant she didn't have to do her hair or deal with the fact that she was kind of bald. So to the extent that it benefited her, it was good. It's the only thing she continued to do because it was to her benefit. She liked it. It wasn't a sacrifice of anything to do it. She was looking for anything to cover her head with. Don't they kill you if you quit Catholicism? No. They love you. They just think you're going to hell. Is what it is, I guess. The hijab did serve her well. It will come and go. Fasting isn't as much. When I was in college, our gay and lesbian student union office was right next to the Muslim student organization. And all during Ramadan, every night after dark, they'd have a potluck. And they'd invite us to eat because, it's food. So, they don't kill you. Yeah, no, you can. It's not like the mob. She was diabetic last March and claimed she did Ramadan. It's all bullshit. It is all bullshit. And so as we're wrapping up the end of our live here, thank you all for joining. Thank you all for being here and sharing a few thoughts. We'll see where it goes from here. I'm going to try to keep up and maybe kick out a coffee break Tuesday or Wednesday, I think, of the coming week, just to keep up in the loop, because I think as the month goes on and we get towards the end, things always get a little more outrageous. In what way, we'll find out, but they get a little more outrageous. So we'll probably check in this week, midweek. So thank you everyone for being here. Thank you everyone for watching. Please do subscribe, hit the thumbs up on your way out. You'll get alerts when we have new videos and go live. Hit the notification bell. We're on Facebook, X, and Instagram if you want to check us out there. All of that's below in the description. Thank y'all for coming. It was a great chat. Thanks for making it easy for me. I was nervous tonight. Can't tell you why, but I feel better now. So thank y'all for joining, and I will catch up with you soon. Bye.